In this video, we're going to cover the hidden friction points that are preventing your landing pages from converting more site visitors into customers. Stick around until the end because even one good idea from this video can help you improve your conversion rate on your landing pages. All right, let's dive into the video. Now, when we talk about landing page optimization, we have to first start with figuring out why do most landing pages fail? As Charlie Munger says, the great Charlie Munger said, invert, always invert. Okay, so we first start with why do landing pages fail? We fixed all the reasons why a landing page might fail, and we're probably gonna have a successful page. Okay, so let's dive into it. Why do most of them fail? A lot of brands assume their landing page isn't working because of design. We just put on flashier graphics, change some of the images out, maybe go with more trendy things that the landing page will magically work better. Often those are not going to solve a poor landing page. Things like the fundamentals, that's why most landing pages fail. Trust signals aren't there, too much friction in the checkout, weak calls to action, poor offer, confusing pricing scheme or structure. All these things can add hesitation for your site visitor on your landing page and ultimately be why they don't convert. You want to avoid these issues, okay? So in the next slides, we're going to cover, okay, what are the practical proven changes that you can make so that your landing pages aren't just good or okay, that they're great. So let's dive into those. Okay, friction. Okay, what do we mean by friction? We mean anything that slows down the progress of your shopper on the landing page. Anything that presents as a risk in the mind of the shopper or site visitor, that's friction. Even small speed bumps can add up and ultimately make the difference between conversion and leaving. Look, the goal is simple. Reduce the path to purchase or whatever your conversion action is. In this case, we'll call it a purchase. You want it to be as smooth as possible. The less obstacles, the better. That doesn't just mean that the page is simpler or has less UI elements or that your button stands out more. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about reducing friction. We want to reduce the things that make your buyer hesitate, okay? So remember, it's not just technical stuff. You want to anticipate risks in the minds of the shopper and mitigate those risks ahead of time. That way they never experience them as they're consuming your page or landing page specifically, okay? The absence of risk will pave the way for a successful conversion. So we want to reduce risk. Speaking of friction, one of the biggest pain points we see when it comes to lots of friction on a landing page for e-commerce brands, it's about the product itself. This includes sizing and overall confidence in if the product is a right fit for the shopper. If shopper doesn't know if a product is going to work for them, they hesitate. And when they hesitate, you lose as the brand. Unclear product specs is a huge problem. Things like dimension, fit, material, these things need to be very clear on the landing page and they need to be front and center. Another issue, there could be an absence of customer feedback, okay? Shoppers rely on things like true to fit, runs a little small, runs a little big, insights from actual previous customers. Without those insights, they're flying blind a lot of times if they're shopping. Here's another thing. Relying on polished studio photos, sometimes they can backfire. If customer can't see the product in real life use, they might assume that it maybe won't fit with how they're going to use it. That uncertainty creates hesitation, and that can kill momentum at checkout. Okay, so you're going to keep that in mind as you're thinking about product confidence and ensuring that the confident, specifically on product specs, size, and fit are going to be perfect. You got to get those right on your landing page. Okay, another problem here, sometimes there's a checkout trust gap. Okay, so customers won't hand over money if they don't feel like it's safe to do so. Stuff like missing trust badges, SSL, the basics, right? Familiar payment options. These are things that can make a shopper hesitate. In some regions, certain payment options are expected. So if you're not offering them in certain regions, your shoppers are not going to like that. If they don't see a payment option they trust, or if they're not sure about checkout, you could have a problem. Trust is an obvious thing you need to look out for, but don't assume that you have it. Make sure that you're checking all these boxes when it comes to reducing friction on the landing page. And when it comes to checkout experience, here's another thing, the shipping and the fees. When people want to purchase a product, they don't want to have a bunch of fees associated with it after they go to purchase, okay? So if it says $50, they don't want to go into it and see, oops, sorry, the total now jumped another $20 because we just added a bunch of shipping charges to your total, okay? Customers feel misled and they're just going to exit. Transparent pricing up front, including shipping and handling fees, is very important to avoid sticker shock and to remove the friction when it comes to shipping. Make sure you're doing this. Another emphasis here for friction reduction is the site experience. This goes without saying. The site needs to be super fast, and in particular, your landing page needs to load super fast, needs to look good on mobile, and you need to pay attention to some of these technical considerations. Clunky navigation, broken UI, things that are going to, in the shopper's mind, this is going to break trust. If the UI doesn't look good, if you don't look like a professional setup, you might lose the customer there, okay? So make sure that there's fast site speed, performance is good, usability is good, and there's no broken elements on any part of your page, including mobile, and that'll help to reduce friction as it relates to the site experience. Okay, now that we've covered some of the things about what can be friction points that you want to make sure you're minimizing or avoiding altogether, now let's dive into some things that you should add onto that once you've removed all the friction elements. Now I want to add on some components that are going to make your landing pages super well optimized. Look, it goes without saying, folks, you need strong above the fold messaging. We've got a great brand here, and here's their example. Stop embarrassing sweat. They're leading with a pain point, okay? A very key pain point that a lot of people are embarrassed about, okay, when they go to shop for a certain product like this. This is a great hook, and it beats vague headlines like new product here, or, here's a deodorant you might like. No, stop embarrassing sweat. What's the problem? The embarrassing sweat. What are we doing? We're stopping it. No more embarrassment, okay? This is a great way to lead off a page. This is a great and strong above fold messaging. Think about how you can lead with pain points in your own landing pages, okay? The goal here is simple. Answer the question, why should I stay on this page? Why should I explore this product more? And this needs to be communicated within the first 5 seconds. And I would even argue maybe even less, maybe in the first 3 seconds. You need to find a hook and lead with that pain point. So make sure your above the fold messaging is awesome. That's step number 1. Okay, next we've got contextual social proof. We all know social proof is important. It needs to relate to that actual thing you're selling on the landing page. Social proof is one of the most important conversion rate drivers, but it has to be shown in the right place. Instead of burying your reviews in a separate tab or way below the page, place them right near the call to action. That way, when someone is debating whether or not they want to buy, they can see in an instant reviews and get reassurance from other shoppers, okay? Also, when it relates to user-generated content, photos and videos from real customers, these should be on your page. This should show the actual product that you're trying to sell, and it should be very relatable, and it should be authentic to real customers that have purchased the product. The idea here is to make social proof unavoidable. So no matter where a shopper is in the funnel, they will be reminded that people just like them have purchased this product, used it, and love it. So let's not forget how important social proof is, and make sure you're incorporating it into your landing page. When it comes to call to actions or CTAs, small changes can have big impact on conversion rates. First, try first person language and run a test with this. Yes, I want this versus shop now. See if that makes a difference. This can make the button feel a little bit more personal and can inspire action from the site visitor. Okay. So make sure you're speaking directly from the shopper's perspective. And don't always assume you know what wording works best. And don't always assume that your competitors, by the way, have this figured out. And a lot of merchants out there look at their competitor and say, well, they're saying this for their call to action, we'll do this too. Sometimes your competitor doesn't have all the answers. So you want to make sure you're testing this, okay? It's a fast thing to set up, and you can get a data-driven answer here. So pay attention to that. And then finally, on mobile, look, attention spans are really short. And on mobile, there can be a lot of scrolling if your page isn't fully optimized. In other words, the call to action could be pretty buried on your mobile version of your site. Consider a sticky call to action that scrolls with the user or I should say the site visitor, that allows them to make a purchase right away. This is important, and this can reduce drop-offs and ultimately bounces and result to a clear path to conversion, okay? So consider adding sticky call to action for mobile. And if you don't do that, make sure it's really visible right away for mobile, okay? So I want you to pay attention to your mobile CTAs, and you'll have success there with your landing pages. Okay, folks, next thing I want to talk about, we mentioned the CTAs and how important that is on mobile. And speaking of mobile layouts, make sure these pages are honestly mobile first. Most traffic now to landing pages are going to be coming from mobile devices for most industries, and most e-commerce brands are going to notice that. So make your layout mobile first. Design with mobile in mind first. That way you nail it and you can go from there. A lot of times, what's the problem? You have all this content and it's all expanded, which makes it an unbelievably long scroll to get through everything. When you're optimizing a mobile first layout, collapse key content so that it's not this overwhelming block of text that users are seeing, and make sure it's fast, right? Speed is everything on mobile. Make sure you're utilizing techniques like lazy loading, compressed images, all the things, getting rid of excess JavaScript pixels to make sure that page is loading super fast. Very important for mobile. Even a small delay can increase bounce rates. So speed is going to be a huge driver for conversion on mobile. Keep that in mind. Last but not least, relevance. How can you increase the relevance of your landing page to the site visitor? Best way to do this is to get some bit of data about the site visitor that you can use to inform the content on the page in a dynamic way in real time. For example, a geo-targeted message such as free 2-day shipping in California speaks directly to where the shopper is. They're in California and they know they're going to get this benefit of the free 2-day shipping. Dynamic product recommendations also are something to consider. They can adapt to browsing history and show what's most likely to convert. Seasonals, updating hero images for the holidays. So seasonal relevant messaging can keep the store feeling fresh and timely. These tactics help customers feel understood, which increases engagement and sales. Relevance is a key conversion driver for landing pages. Think about how you can increase the relevance of your landing pages if you want to have a really good one. Hey folks, I hope you learned just a little bit more about landing page optimization after today's video. Here at Shogun, we offer a number of tools that can help e-commerce merchants not only create great converting landing pages, but also optimize their entire storefront, okay? We have the tools to help you do that, including A/B testing. So I'm gonna leave a link down below to our great tool set. I hope you'll check that out, especially if you're on the Shopify platform. And if you like this video, give us a like. Click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We're putting out content all the time to help e-commerce merchants optimize and grow their brands. So I want you to check us out. And until next time, good luck and happy selling.